Hi everyone and welcome to my Game Week 9 transfer plans. As you can see on the screen, Game Week 8 was a bloodbath. 35 points. Absolute nightmare. In this video, it's all about transfers and how we can fix this team. I have 3 transfers and I'm going to use all of them. Yep, I'm fed up. So stick around because I'm going to tell you the 3 players I'm removing and why. But more importantly, the 3 players coming in and the pros and cons of those players. Now, if this sounds good to you, do me a favor, drop a like and subscribe. Let's get into it. Where do we start with this team? Sales, the absolute savior. Last game of the game week. Nottingham Forest versus Crystal Palace, and he pops up with an 11-pointer. Honestly, can you imagine how bad my game week was without him? I mean, it still is bad, but just comprehend it without Sales. Very thankful for him. At one stage, it was looking a bit nervy because he was injured from international break. Thankfully, he was fit and started, and he looks a really good pick. One of the few players in my team I'm really happy with. Moving on to the defense, Trent with a 2-pointer. Totally understandable. Chelsea are very strong. They got that Jackson goal, which took away his clean sheet. Attacking wise, it was the lowest XG for him this season. But again, I can understand that. He had to mark Sancho and had to mark Neto, 2 very tricky wingers, and Chelsea's attack is very strong. I think with Slot, we're going to see this a bit more often, that he will take notice of the opponents, and if he needs Trent to be a bit more defensive, tuck in a bit more reserved, he will do it. Where Klopp, you know him, he didn't change his game plan, attack non-stop, it doesn't matter who it is. So I think these are small differences we're starting to notice about Slot. Gabriel with a 1-pointer, there's not much he could do here. His partner in crime, Saliba, with the red card, which left Arsenal in a bad position. Bournemouth still had to do their job and their first goal was excellent. The set piece kings Arsenal were actually undone by a quality set piece. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. And last in my defense was Lewis. Now again, Manchester City are very frustrating defensively. They're conceding goals and there's no attacking returns from Lewis at the moment. The good thing is he did start, he did get the minutes, so that's a big positive, but unfortunately, it was the other Manchester City defender that got all the points, Vardy, with a spectacular goal. So all in all, the back 3 all blanked, only the goalkeeper from a defensive perspective returned. Moving on to midfield, Luis Diaz, the first disappointment of this game week. Yes, I knew it was a bit risky, international break, and he played for Colombia, but I thought there was more than enough time. But clearly Slot wasn't happy because he remembered after the last international break, Liverpool lost to Nottingham Forest, so he didn't risk it this time. The 2 South Americans, they did not start. Saka wasn't even in the squad, so it was a 0 points. Very frustrating. There was a lot of fuss about him traveling. A lot of the FPL managers were hunting Saka, trying to find him. Yes, he arrived in Bournemouth. Was it him? Was it not him? There was a lot of fun and games when it came to predicting Saka's start. The reality was Arteta didn't risk it. Yes, he travelled with the squad. That doesn't guarantee you're going to play. He was a big miss in this game. You could see even before the red card, Arsenal's attack, it can handle maybe no Odegaard, but no Odegaard and Saka is a big loss, and totally understandable. 2 incredible players. Rodgers, the only other player that returned in my team. Oh, I'm so thankful for him. More than happy I've still got him. I think he's the bargain of the season so far. Plays in a very good team, a team that's challenging for top 4. He plays in advanced position and he's getting good minutes. So all in all, I'm really happy with Rodgers. And last in my midfield is Mbumo. I thought against United we could get an attacking return considering how United have been this season. It wasn't to be. So when you look at the midfield, only 1 return. Very poor showing. Up front, Havertz blanked. Yes, the red card impacted him big time. Once I saw the red go up, I was like, oh God. Havertz's odds of returning became really low. So it's really unfortunate, not much we can do about that, but the red card did kill Arsenal as an attacking force. Haaland, the man who couldn't stop scoring at the start of the season, all of a sudden has had 3 blanks. And not just normal blanks, with captaining him, so it's extra painful when he blanks. The performance against Wolves was very poor. Hardly involved, had 1 shot where in fact he didn't even connect with it, he miskicked it near the end. So it was a poor showing and maybe something we need to consider, whether he stays in our team or not. And lastly in my team, the biggest disappointment is Dominic Calvert-Lewin. His XG numbers are good, but his FPL points are rubbish. Poor, and it makes the decision even worse that I saw Chris Wood score again, because it was a decision between those 2. And believe it or not, I went DCL. 50-50s like that are painful, especially when you're on the wrong side of them. People that went Chris Wood, you're smiling. He's had returns. DCL, 4 blanks in a row. Looking at the bench, Semenyo had to come on for me as Saka obviously wasn't in the squad. He got 2 points, but really he should have had more. He's finishing. All he needs to do is just calm it down a little bit, slow it down in the final third, because he's been excellent this season. And even in this performance, he was really good. I think he had 2 really good chances, but he's just trying to smash it in full power from close range. There's no need to. Mikalenko with another return. Unfortunately, he was on my second bench. If Diaz didn't come on, I was in business here. But you know how FPL works. And last up was Greaves, who is actually injured now with a 0-pointer. But at his price, I can leave him third bench. I'm not going to worry about him too much. So all in all, 35 points. A horror showing. I don't want to see this again this season. Get in the comments to let me know how you done. Was it higher or was it lower than my game week? I'm praying for you that it wasn't lower than my game week, because this is very, very bleak. Now let's focus on my game week 9 team, starting with Sales, who had an incredible performance in game week 8 against Leicester away. He's predicted around 3.14 points. I think he could surpass that. He's been excellent this season, and Nottingham Forest have been really, really good. In defense, I'm starting with Trent again. Yes, I know it's against Arsenal, the hardest game possible, but he's expensive. I have to play him in games like this. You never know with him. Even if he doesn't get a clean sheet, he could get an attack in return. For me, I'm not considering benching him at all, unless I sell him, which we're going to discuss in the transfer section. Beside him, I've gone for Mikalenko ahead of Gabriel. Now, that's the first big decision I've had to make in this team. And last in my defense is Lewis. Surely against Southampton at home, there's a clean sheet. Knowing my luck, they'll keep a clean sheet, but Lewis won't play. This is how FPL's working at the moment. Let's hope it's not the case and he plays and gets a clean sheet. In midfield, Diaz has got the starting spot, and as you can see, it's a bit of a problem already here. This is 3 players playing against each other. So Diaz against Arsenal, and beside him, Saka, if he is actually fit, playing against Liverpool. Rodgers, after his star performance in game week 8, of course he's in my team. He's got Bournemouth at home, which is a good fixture. Let's hope we can get another attack in return for us. And last in my midfield is Mbumo, playing Ipswich at home. It's an excellent fixture. He is predicted to score near 6 points. Let's hope we can surpass that and get 2 attacking returns. Up top, Havertz is still in the team. Same issue I discussed earlier. They're all playing each other. I'm not too comfortable with that. Haaland versus Southampton at home. Now, this is such a big game for Manchester City and Haaland and for us FPL managers. And loads of us are thinking about triple captaining him. I did check his predicted points. He's predicted near 8 points, which is quite good. So if you triple captain that and he gets that, that's already a decent return. But you'd like to think he's going to return. And if they do score early, surely a hat-trick is on the horizon. Now, I know what you're going to say. He's blanked 3 times in a row when he's looked like a donkey against Wolves. I know, but we need to try and make decisions on the upcoming fixtures. Southampton have been very, very poor. There's no way Haaland's going to continue this. There's no way. I was shocked to see him blank twice, to blank 3 times or even 4. I mean, we're going into unknown territory here. He's got a midweek fixture. He could get a goal there and his confidence is up, and then he comes for Southampton. So this one is actually an important one. He's going to be a lot of people's captains, even after blanking 3 times. But he's going to be a lot of people's triple captains. Some might have changed their mind on this since the blanks, but I'm considering it. I'm considering it. This fixture could be a bloodbath. And last up, God, Calvert-Lewin, the blanking machine. Yes, he's got another place in my starting 11. The fixture is not bad. Fulham at home. Surely he returns now. It's his time, right? XG numbers are good. The minutes are good. The fixture is good. Let's hope so, because I know for a fact the alternatives will be scoring. On the bench, Semenyo is first up again. I'm more than happy to use him if I need him. He's playing Aston Villa away. I know it's a tricky fixture, but the way he's been playing, and especially Bournemouth, their attack is not bad at all. Gabriel, second on my bench, like I discussed earlier. This one here, I'm not 100% locked in. He's playing Liverpool, one of the toughest teams, the team top of the league, and Liverpool look to be scoring in most games. But then it's Arsenal. Their defense could easily turn it on. But then Gabriel, he's also an attacking threat in set pieces. So I'm not sure here. If you let me know in the comments who you think I should play. Have I got it correct at the moment? And last up is Greaves, who is injured, so I don't really care about him. The captaincy's on Haaland and the vice captaincy's on Mbumo. But this is before I've spoken about transfers, which we're going to do right now. Now, the players I'm thinking about transferring out are highlighted on the screen. Trent is one of those. Diaz, his Liverpool teammate. Diaz more urgent than Trent, mainly because I've misjudged these minutes. The last 2 game weeks, he's played 24 minutes and 17 minutes. nowhere near good enough, especially when you think about how many options there are in midfield this season. Beside him, the other one highlighted is Saka. Now, I know he's been super consistent, elite player, but a combination of injuries and upcoming fixtures, which we're going to talk about in a minute, is starting to put me off him. And Havertz, similar reasons to Saka. I'm not happy about them playing Liverpool, but also the upcoming fixtures. Now, speaking of fixtures, have a look at Arsenal's upcoming 4 games. Liverpool at home, Newcastle away, Chelsea away, and Nottingham Forest at home. Now, these are 4 tricky fixtures. Yes, I know Arsenal are challenging for the league. They can win all 4 games. I totally get it. But when you're playing FPL, we're playing probability. I'm going to try and pick players who have easier fixtures, giving me a better chance of returning higher scores. And when you look at Liverpool's fixtures, Arsenal away, Brighton at home, Aston Villa at home, Southampton away. A little bit better than Arsenal's, I think. Hence the reason I'm more likely to sell 2 Arsenal and 1 Liverpool instead of the other way around. Now, it's looking likely I'm going to sell 2 midfielders. So what midfield options are out there for me? Well, let's have a look. 2 Tottenham players. It was so good to see Son back. He's been out injured. Spurs, I've missed him. I've missed watching him play, and he was back in a big way. West Ham was shocking. Once they conceded the second goal, they collapsed. And us non-Son owners were very fortunate. He could have really hauled. They did take away his assist, but he did get the goal. So if you did own him, you're smiling this game week. But he's definitely a player at 9.8 million. I'm considering, especially when you look at Spurs' upcoming games. They still have 3 gorgeous fixtures. Brennan Johnson, who's a cheaper way into this Spurs attack at 6.6 million, could allow me to spend the money elsewhere. I do like him. He's got the minutes. His XG was still very good against West Ham. He was unfortunate to not return considering Spurs scored 4 goals. Phil Foden is another player I'm considering. The reason, in fact, I didn't go him this game week, I was uncertain about the minutes and I was actually right to wait. He was substitute again. I'm not quite sure what's going on this season, considering he was player of the Premier League last season and he's hardly getting any minutes this season. He came on and got the assist, which was a corner for Manchester City. Maybe he'll be back in Pep's good books. I think he deserves a chance to play himself into form. Once I see Phil Foden getting the minutes with a combination of Manchester City's upcoming fixtures, he looks a perfect pick. But it's whether I can risk it this game week and then see him on the bench again. And the last midfielder I'm considering is Palmer. Super consistent, very explosive. Chelsea's attack looks good. Penalties, set pieces, ticks all the boxes. I know against Liverpool he didn't get much chances, but Liverpool did a good job on him. The other player I should have on this screen is really Mohamed Salah. He's having an excellent season, but that extra 2 million is making it difficult for me to not go Palmer and leave Salah, which means I can, instead of going to Brennan Johnson, I could go with Phil Foden or Son. So I feel like I'm getting 2 premium players instead of 1. 2 from these 4 midfielders are likely to come into my team. The 2 I go with really depends on the forwards I go with. Now, the forwards, let's have a look at them. The 2 I really like is Raul Jimenez and Dominic Solanke. Why am I considering these 2? Let's start with Raul Jimenez. First of all, Fulham have been excellent this season. It's good to see Raul Jimenez back. After he suffered that life-threatening injury, he went on a run where he looks way below par. Hopefully his confidence is back, and recently he's been returning game week after game week. Game week 8, for example, 7 points, 1 goal, 1 bonus point, and he had 4 shots. So he was unfortunate not to get a couple more goals. His XG was 0.74. And the next fixtures, Everton away and Brentford at home. 2 gorgeous fixtures, and there's more good fixtures after that. His predicted points is 3.56 and 4.01. I think he'll supersede that with just 1 attack in return. And the other forward I'm considering is Dominic Solanke at 7.7 million. He's another way into this Spurs attack, and with Spurs' gorgeous fixtures, I definitely want some of the action. Now, game week 8, he had a bit of a quiet one, which was strange because they destroyed West Ham, but when you look, even his XG was 0.8, no returns, no bonus, so it was just a 2-pointer. But the fixtures, Crystal Palace away, Aston Villa at home, predicted points 4.71 and 5.17. Very, very good potential here. Now, the pros and cons here. If I go Solanke, I couldn't possibly go Son if I want Palmer. But if I go Jimenez, I could go Palmer and Son. So it's trying to calculate which one I want. How do I want to spend that money? Currently, as of making this video, I'm thinking Raul Jimenez and Palmer and Son. 2 premium midfielders, both take penalty set pieces. And maybe Jimenez might be back on penalties after Pereira missed one on the weekend. So as you can see, I've got options. I know the players I want to remove. It's more than likely going to be Diaz, Saka and Havertz. And I'm going to bring in 3 of these players. What do you think about my proposed transfers? I'm not going to make my transfers yet though, because we have midweek fixtures. So there's a full roster of midweek games, UEFA Champions League, UEFA Europa League and Conference League. So you've got Chelsea playing, but Palmer's not an issue because he's not in the squad for this. He gets a full rest, which is a big tick against his name actually. Tottenham, Manchester United. Look, I was considering 2 Tottenham players. What if they get injured? Arsenal. What if we see Saka fit? We could get a fitness update, might change my mind on my transfer. There's a lot of information from the midweek game. So please, unless you've got price constraints and you have to go early, I would advise you to wait. It's an old mistake a lot of managers make. Go early, they get injured, then you have to -4 to take them out again. Nothing more painful in FPL. So if you can wait, definitely do it. I hope you enjoyed the video, but more importantly, I hope you found the video useful. Remember, the deadline is on Friday night. Do not get caught out. It's not a Saturday morning deadline, so please add it to your calendar, add it to alarms and alerts so you don't get stung. Now, before you jump off to your next video, do me a favor, drop a like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. I'm trying to reach my next milestone, which is 1,000 subscribers, and I can only do that with your help. And if you want to see the future of FPL, definitely check out this video on the screen now. You're going to see what AI predicted last week. You can compare and see if it got it right or wrong, and whether to use their insight for the upcoming game week. Definitely check it out.